It's time. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show live on WBON TV and on radio at WEKY, WKXO, and WIRV. Support your favorite team with apparel from Campus Warehouse and join us here on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show. Also brought to you by Bishop Small Engine Repair and Nuevo Vallarta. And now let's go live to your hosts, Michael Watkins and Samantha Burford.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome in to the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show live tonight at Madison Southern High School. Michael Watkins here with you as we are set for some tournament action here tonight. It'll be Madison Southern taking on Great Crossing in girls basketball action. We will be live here for that game later on tonight, but first here on the Sports Show, lots to get to. We'll recap the 44th District Tournament from last week, in which we saw Madison Southern and Madison Central play in both the boys and girls championship games. We'll also look back and preview the 11th Region Tournament draw, which took place over the weekend, and give you those matchups and kind of dive into those matchups. We'll have an interview with Jared Peck, who is the high school sports writer for the Lexington Herald Leader. He will be joining us later on to preview this 11th Region Tournament and give us some picks for a guy that's been covering pretty much the entire region as a whole. He'll get some picks and some knowledge on this 11th Region Girls and Boys Tournament. All that coming up right now on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show. We appreciate you being with us. First, we'll look back at last week's tournament that got started a week ago, or a week earlier today. A week ago today, they started that tournament. It was Madison Central and Model in the girls and boys first round, and then Madison Southern and Berea on Tuesday night in the first round. And we'll look back at some of the highlights of those games as well, as Madison Central was able to beat Model in both the girls and boys games. Model in the girls' side kept it close for a little bit, just couldn't get enough offense going in that first round game against Madison Central. Ended up Central pulled away in the second half. Model hit some shots in the fourth quarter to kind of make the score a little bit closer, but Central would eventually go on to win. In the boys' game that night, Madison Central got out to a 26-0 lead before Model ever scored their first point.
Inside the Brown.
Patriots just couldn't get anything
to
going
Davis.
offensively.
He'll try a three.
Good. About 3 or 4 days before the district tournament started, you could tell that the Patriots were trying to shake off the rust. Didn't have their full complement of players either in that game, as they had, I think, only 3 players on the bench. And then in the very first play of the game, Jackson Perry, their starting shooting guard, goes down with a concussion. He didn't even get to re-enter the game. So they finished the game with only 2 players on the bench. It's just been that kind of season for Model. They've been out of quarantine, barely had their entire roster of players available throughout the entire season, and Madison Central would go on to cruise to an easy victory there and would find themselves in the championship game on Friday night. On Tuesday night, it was Madison Southern and Berea. And the girls' game, we had previewed it, said it could potentially be the best game of the tournament. It lived up to that hype, as Madison Southern had a pretty good lead at the half, but give Berea credit. They eventually took their first lead of the game late in the third quarter. In the fourth quarter, a huge 4-point play by Samantha Cornelson set up Southern's victory as they would go on to win 46-41 in the first round game over the Lady Pirates. In the nightcap that night, it was Southern and Berea boys, and the game went back and forth for a while. Southern was just so hot from deep. Got some really good play from their sophomore, Zach Hudson, who knocked down 4 3-pointers in the first half. Brett Ursuline played well as well, and the Eagles were able to pull away in that game, build a pretty good lead, get some of their young guys in, and they would go on to win their first-round game over Berea. The big story of that game came late in the game when Jalen Dorsey hurt his kneecap. He had a sprained patella, I believe is what or dislocated patella. And he's going to be out for a couple of weeks. Obviously, their season did come to an end, but Dorsey's a kid that has aspirations of playing college basketball. He was going to be out for about 2 weeks with no basketball activity and going to have a little bit of a resting period, about a month or so before he could get back out there, do some PT, and get everything and get him back in line to get out there and continue warming up and kind of preparation for playing basketball at the next level. So that was how the first round went. We saw Madison Central and Madison Southern win both the girls and boys first-round games, setting up those two schools facing off in the championship games in both the girls and boys on Friday night. The girls' game was back and forth. Central was able to hang with the Madison Southern Lady Eagles before, again, Samantha Cornelson late in the game, able to take over, knock down some big shots, and Southern's defense propelled them to victory on Friday night as they were once again crowned district champions for the first time since 2019. On the boys' side, Madison Central was able to kind of play good defense. They got enough offense from Jalen Davis and Cole Brown and Will Harden that they were able to build a good lead. Their defense able to protect that lead late in the game, and they would go on to win the district championship as well on Friday night. So it's Madison Southern, Madison Central, your district champions. Southern on the girls' side, Central on the boys' side. They will host their first-round games. We've got Josh Curtis over here. We're going to bring him on here in just a few moments to kind of preview the matchup tonight with Great Crossing, talk about the draw, and about this team being district champions. So we'll take our first commercial break, and when we come back, we'll talk to the head coach of the Lady Eagles here on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show.
Hey, why aren't you watching these 30-second walk-arounds?
I'm Michelle.
And I'm Jennifer, and in the spring of 1992, Bishop Small Engine Repair was born in our mom and dad's barn in Estill County.
Then in the fall of 1992, we made the move to Madison County, where we are today. With the support of our family, customers, and community, we have continued to grow in the outdoor power industry. With a full line of products from Kokudet, Grasshopper, Echo, and Shindawa, we can help you tackle your yard so you can enjoy it with your family. Bishop Small Engine Repair, where our focus is our customer. Stop on in, 119 North Estill Avenue in Richmond. We can't wait to see you.
Who makes the best meal in Richmond? Nuevo Vallarta. Friendly service, a place that's good for kids and good for groups. Head to Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond. Nuevo Vallarta is known for warm hospitality, great prices, great food, and the best margaritas and fajitas in town. Doesn't a huge 32-ounce ice-cold beer sound great? Start with an appetizer, order a la carte, or choose from their huge menu of Mexican favorites for grown-ups and kids. Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond.
Patrick O'Neill has been serving Central and Eastern Kentucky since 1995. When someone is accused of something they didn't do, or when a good person makes a mistake, they need the best representation they can find. And that's Patrick O'Neill. Whether it's criminal defense, Social Security, disability, personal injury, workers' compensation, or deeds and wills. When you need legal advice, trust the expertise of Patrick O'Neill. He will get you the money you deserve. His office is located in Jackson, but Patrick practices all over Central and Eastern Kentucky. For more information or for a free consultation, call 606-666-2990.
Back here on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show, talking to the head coach of the Lady Eagles of Madison Southern, Josh Curtis. And, Coach, a couple of close games in that district tournament. Just talk about how things went for you and the team and how excited you all were to pull out that district championship win.
Yeah, it was two very close competitive games against two rivals, and we knew they both would be close games regardless of what had happened in the season, especially playing in that gym. You're never going to have great shooting nights in there, especially if you're not used to it. What I liked the most out of that, besides winning the district tournament, obviously, was it was just two more tests where we had to scratch and claw at the end of games and make plays and find a way to win. So that's what I want to take from that tournament and hopefully carry it into the night.
You know, one thing that really impressed me during that tournament run was the way your bench played. Mm-hmm. You got contributions from Tara Wooten. Bella Marbley played well off the bench. The Carter girl took a charge late in the Central game. That was a big deal. Yeah. And it seemed like everybody that came out there on the floor played an integral part in you all winning both of those two games.
Yeah, and that's one thing I thought was our strength from the beginning of the season. We can go 9-10 deep if we need to. Tara has hit big shots for us all year. Bella stepped in and started some games when Macy was hurt. Jada, she is someone who doesn't get a lot of credit in the book, but she makes invaluable plays. Yep. She blocks out. She'll take the charge that leads us to winning. And then Hadley French the other night, the seventh grader, Mo was in foul trouble for a majority of the game, and so we stuck a seventh grader out there and made her play 25 minutes, and I thought she played great as well.
Yeah, I think the most impressive thing about French, and I've been seeing her play seventh grade ball this year, is that when she came in, it seemed like you all kind of calmed down. Like she was able to calm things down, obviously, in a big moment, district championship game. You bring a 7th grader in, well, is the lights going to be too bright for her? They were not. She came in, she kind of calmed the team down, set up the right plays, and led to some big plays in the second half.
Yes, and that's why when you watch her, you would be surprised when someone tells you she's a 7th grader. She's played so many games. She's calm. She's wise. Her basketball IQ is through the roof. And she's just someone, even at 12, 13 years old, that you can put out there in any situation and trust her.
You know, whenever you look at Samantha Cornelson and Lacey Parks, your 2 seniors, I'm not going to say both of them played great in those 2 games, but they played well enough for you to win. And when in those big moments, I mean, Lacey had a couple of good defensive plays. Samantha hit the big 4-point play in the win over Berea, had a good shot late in the win over Central.
Right.
You got to have that. You know, whenever, they've struggled offensively, didn't have their best offensive games, but in the late moments you can count on them.
Yeah, Lacey, I thought she played great in the first game. We asked her to guard Maddie Stepp, and I thought she did a great job on her, hit some clutch free throws at the end of the game, so I was very pleased with Lacey that first game. And Sam, she got the attention thrown on her both games, and what I was most proud of her, she did not force one single shot.
I said that on the broadcast.
She let the game come to her. She was coming and talking to us and making sure, hey, am I making the right plays? She, at the end of the day, she wanted to win that game, and she was telling us she didn't care if she took 2 shots or 20 shots. She just wanted the team to win.
You know, it can be frustrating as a fan because you know Sam can go out there and score 30 points.
Right.
And, like, if it's a close game, we're like, okay, Sam, take over. But what I liked about her, as you said, she didn't force anything. She didn't say, okay, my team's down, I got to go out there and make a big play. She let the game come to her, and that just kind of shows the maturity that she has.
Yeah, and that Berea game especially, I can't remember what it was, but she didn't take a ton of shots. And they were paying attention to her, and then for her to still hit a huge shot like she hit at the end of the game, I mean, it was her time to shoot it, and she made a play for us. And as a senior player, your best player, that's what you want to happen.
Yeah, and you talked about the defense your team played. You held Berea's top 3 scorers to 9 points combined. That was probably the most impressive thing about the win over Berea.
Yeah, and we've watched a lot of film on them. They have 3 really good players. I mean, Madison Howe's one of the best players in the region, I think. And so we wanted to definitely focus in on them. And when you do that, sometimes you leave other kids open, and they had 2 or 3 kids that came off the bench and made some big plays that kept them in the game. But I was very pleased with how we defended both games.
You know, as your first season here as the head coach, it's not been your typical season. But what do you think has been the biggest takeaway? Obviously, the season's not over. Hopefully, it'll go past tonight. But what do you think has been the biggest takeaway from your first year as the head coach here?
Just the toughness of our team, the mental toughness, willing to overcome adversity. There's been a lot of challenges thrown at them, and I know the whole state, the whole country, the whole world basically has had those things thrown at them. But just our kids have battled, no matter if they've had 5 practices or 1 practice. They show up, they play. They don't make excuses. They don't want to make excuses. They've just been put through the test multiple times, and they have come through and answered it every time.
So you got a great crossing tonight. So you were there at the draw. It's your first time being a part of it. Just talk about that process, and once you see who you were going to draw, kind of how that went for you.
Yeah, well, as a first-year head coach, I was excited to actually draw something, but we didn't even get to draw. It was already done for us. So we already knew who we were playing at that point. But it's going to be an exciting game tonight. They're a great team. I think, I was saying this the other night, I think they could win the region. They've got that much talent. They've got 2 of the top 5 players in the region, I think, and they can obviously shoot the ball very well. So it's going to be a tough game.
Now, everybody that I've talked to says you take Franklin County out, who's been kind of the top team for a long time here in this region. And Madison Southern, Lafayette, Great Crossing, the 3 or 4 teams can flip a coin in any given night. They can knock off somebody. So what are you going to have to get out of your girls tonight to win here?
Well, we're definitely going to have to continue to defend the way we have been. I've been very pleased with our defense. We do a good job of understanding our assignments. So hopefully that will be good. But the big thing for us, we got to hit shots. I mean, you can't beat anybody, good or bad, if you don't hit shots. So we're hoping. We worked really hard to get this home game, so we're hoping that we can use this home court advantage for us to see the ball go through the basket some.
That was going to be my next question. The last time you all played them once this year, and it was not the outcome that you wanted, obviously.
Right.
Great Crossing playing at home, a little bit of a better feel for the way they played there. How important is it to have this game here?
It's huge. It's huge. Our kids are ready to play, but at the same time, especially now that we're back in school all day, it's a lot to get on a bus and go drive an hour and then go play in a very important game in a regional tournament. So I like that we were able to host this game and make them come to us, and hopefully the home rims will be kind to us tonight.
Well, Coach, I know you and your team are going to get out there and get ready for tonight's game. Good luck tonight. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to talk to us.
Thank you.
That's Josh Curtis. Folks, take another commercial break, and we'll come back live and preview some more of the regional tournaments coming up here on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show.
Hey, why aren't you watching these 30-second walk-arounds?
I'm Michelle.
And I'm Jennifer, and in the spring of 1992, Bishop Small Engine Repair was born in our mom and dad's barn in Estill County.
Then in the fall of 1992, we made the move to Madison County, where we are today. With the support of our family, customers, and community, we have continued to grow in the outdoor power industry. With a full line of products from Kopudet, Grasshopper, Echo, and Shindawa, we can help you tackle your yard so you can enjoy it with your family. Bishop Small Engine Repair, where our focus is our customer. Stop on in, 119 North Estill Avenue in Richmond. We can't wait to see you.
Who makes the best meal in Richmond? Nuevo Vallarta. Friendly service, a place that's good for kids and good for groups. Head to Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond. Nuevo Vallarta is known for warm hospitality, great prices, great food, and the best margaritas and fajitas in town. Doesn't a huge 32-ounce ice-cold beer sound great? Start with an appetizer, order a la carte, or choose from their huge menu of Mexican favorites for grown-ups and kids. Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond.
Patrick O'Neill has been serving Central and Eastern Kentucky since 1995. When someone is accused of something they didn't do, or when a good person makes a mistake, they need the best representation they can find. And that's Patrick O'Neill. Whether it's criminal defense, Social Security, disability, personal injury, workers' compensation, or deeds and wills, when you need legal advice, trust the expertise of Patrick O'Neill. He will get you the money you deserve. His office is located in Jackson, but Patrick practices all over Central and Eastern Kentucky. For more information or for a free consultation, call 606-666-2990.
We're back here on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show. Michael Watkins here with you, folks. Don't forget about Jack Burford Chevrolet. Located on the bypass in Richmond, they've got all kinds of new Chevrolets arriving daily. Those 2021 Chevrolets arriving daily at Jack Burford Chevrolet, like the all-new Chevy Bolt. Available at Jack Burford Chevrolet. You can visit jackburford.com to see all the latest inventory at Jack Burford Chevrolet. We're also brought to you by Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond. If you love authentic Mexican food, Gustavo and his staff will do a great job of taking care of you, whether it's a pollo bandito, or you like quesadillas, enchiladas. They got it all right there at Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond. They are expanding their building, going to make it bigger for you and more accessible. Also, they're going to be opening up a Nuevo here in Berea. So lots of ways to get your favorite Mexican food at Nuevo Vallarta in Richmond and soon to be in Berea. We're also brought to you by Bishop Small Engine Repair. It's now time to start cutting your grass, folks, and whether you've got a brand new mower that you want to get from Bishop's, or you've got one, an old faithful, old reliable that you like, maybe you want to take it over to Bishop's and make sure that it's ready for spring. Get it over to Bishop Small Engine Repair on North Estill Avenue in Richmond. They'll take great care of you over there. And also the law office of Patrick O'Neill. Patrick is located in Breathitt County, but he serves all over Central and Eastern Kentucky. Give him a call today for a free consultation at 606-666-2990. Going to kind of look ahead to these regional tournaments. Obviously, the girls' tournament starting tonight. We are going to be here for the Madison Southern Great Crossing game. Scott County will play Lafayette tonight. Tates Creek and Frederick Douglass, and then Franklin County will play Madison Central. And according to a lot of folks around that cover the 11th region as a whole, Scott County and it looks like Frederick Douglass, Franklin County, some of the top teams here in this region. According to the KHSA website, Dunbar on the girls' side has the top RPI. They didn't even make it into the 11th region tournament. You look at some other teams around here in the 11th region on the girls' side. You've got Franklin County, who is ranked second in RPI. They are undefeated in the region. And then Madison Southern, who was 7-2 in region play, ranked third. And Southern's one of those two losses came against this Great Crossing team back on February the 20th, so about a month and about 10 days ago. Over top of that, Southern went on the road, lost to Great Crossing 83-44. It was not a great game for Josh Curtis's team as they would go on to lose that night. So they've got to have a much better game this evening if they want to advance in this 11th region tournament. On the boys' side, we take a look at it. We've got Frederick Douglass going to play Madison Southern. That game over at Douglas tomorrow night. Dunbar will play Frankfort after coming back and upsetting Lexington Catholic once again in the district championship game. Franklin County will play Henry Clay, and then Madison Central will play Lexington Catholic. So some really big games tomorrow night here in this 11th region tournament. Also here tonight as well. So we're going to have some of those here for you on the Wallingford Broadcasting airwaves and WBON TV. We'll have this one for you tonight between Madison Southern and Great Crossing. Tomorrow night we'll have Central and Lexington Catholic. And then the entire semifinals, the girls and boys, and the final games will also be live here on WBON TV. So a very busy week for us getting started here this evening. We're going to play one more commercial break. When we come back, I'm going to try to grab the head coach of the Eagles boys team, Austin Newton. His team will be on the road at Frederick Douglass tomorrow. So we'll talk to him about that when we come back here on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show.
Hey, why aren't you watching these 30-second walk-arounds?
I'm Michelle.
And I'm Jennifer, and in the spring of 1992, Bishop's Small Engine Repair was born in our mom and dad's barn in Estill County.
Then in the fall of 1992, we made the move to Madison County, where we are today. With the support of our family, customers, and community, we have continued to grow in the outdoor power industry. With a full line of products from Cupcadet, Grasshopper, Echo, and Shindawa, we can help you tackle your yard so you can enjoy it with your family. Bishop's Small Engine Repair, where our focus is our customer. Stop on in, 119 North Estill Avenue in Richmond. We can't wait to see you.
Who makes the best meal in Richmond? Nuevo Vallarta. Friendly service, a place that's good for kids and good for groups. Head to Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond. Nuevo Vallarta is known for warm hospitality, great prices, great food, and the best margaritas and fajitas in town. Doesn't a huge 32-ounce ice-cold beer sound great? Start with an appetizer, order a la carte, or choose from their huge menu of Mexican favorites for grown-ups and kids. Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond.
Patrick O'Neill has been serving Central and Eastern Kentucky since 1995. When someone is accused of something they didn't do, or when a good person makes a mistake, they need the best representation they can find. And that's Patrick O'Neill. Whether it's criminal defense, Social Security, disability, personal injury, workers' compensation, or deeds and wills. When you need legal advice, trust the expertise of Patrick O'Neill. He will get you the money you deserve. His office is located in Jackson, but Patrick practices all over Central and Eastern Kentucky. For more information or for a free consultation, call 606-666-2990.
Back here on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports, we're talking to Austin Newton. And, Coach, first of all, I'm glad we're finally getting to do this in person. I've talked to you several times this year. We've had to do it on Zoom call, so glad to be back here in person talking to you.
Great point.
You guys had the draw on Saturday, and it was your second time being a part of the tournament draw. Talk about the process of that and how stressful that can be on a coach trying to figure out who you're going to play.
Right. Well, we were very grateful to be a part of it. This is my third year. My first year, we drew Henry Clay, which was probably the best playing team in the region at the time, my first year. And, you know, we kind of knew going into that game that we were outmatched. Yeah. And we kept it close early on and ended up getting beat by 25. And then last year, of course, drew Central first round of the district and got beat, so didn't get to go to the region. And then this year, go over and draw a very good Frederick Douglass team who's 17-1, very athletic. You know, they haven't lost a game since early in the season. They've won, 15 in a row or whatever it is. So we know we got our hands full, but what's different about year one and this year is that we have guys and coaches that believe we can win that game tomorrow night. We're not walking into that gym thinking, oh, this is our last game. Like we believe that we're going to win, and we're going to give it our best shot.
You know, you can tell you're trying to change their culture here, build a culture of this program. How important is it for you to go on the road tomorrow night and have a good showing?
I think it's very important. I mean, I've been saying it since I got the job. The school's been here 32 years now, never won a regional tournament game. And so, obviously, we want to win a district championship. We want to be right there with Central every year, but we need to win a regional tournament game. I mean, it's one thing to get there, but for us to never win a regional tournament game is just mind-blowing. And it's very hard. It's a tough region. And so, you know, when you get a draw like Frederick Douglass, you see why it's been so tough over the years to win. But I think once you get that monkey off your back and you win, maybe it snowballs into later years.
You know, you look at Frederick Douglass and Catholic, and you know, if one thing that we've seen in this NCAA tournament, and even on Friday night with Dunbar beating Catholic, is upsets happen a lot in these tournaments. And you guys have a chance to go on the road, and according to the media or the RPI or whatever you look at, Frederick Douglass is one of the top teams in this region. So what is going to be the key for you all to go on the road and pull off an upset?
So first of all, we've played some very good competition this year. I mean, you think about playing Madison Central, who I think is playing better than anybody in the region. We played them 3 times. We played North Laurel. We played Henry Clay.
South Laurel's pretty good, too.
South Laurel. And so we scheduled really tough. Of course, I thought we were going to have Nate Turner before the year, and I thought we were going to be really good. And, you know, you lose Nate, and we still found a way to compete with those upper echelon teams. So we've played teams that are just as talented as Frederick Douglass. We've been in the game. A few of those games we should have won. So as far as like competition-wise, we are ready for that caliber game. We're going to have to control the tempo of the game. They like to play fast. They like to press. So we're going to have to do some very specific things game plan-wise to dictate the tempo and keep the tempo in our favor and not get caught up in trying to run with them. But, like, I feel very confident that we can go over there and keep it close and hopefully win the game.
You know, one thing in watching your team play this year that I've noticed is it's for every team basically, but really with your team because you get so many good looks. It's the way your offense runs. You get a ton of good looks throughout the length of a game, but it's whether or not those shots go in. So when you're going on the road, never played at Frederick Douglass, you got to get over there and try to get a feel of the game early. And I think a good start is going to be very important for you all tomorrow night.
Absolutely. And, you know, you can sit here and talk about scouting report. You can talk about game plan. They got a very good player in Deshaun Jackson.
The one at EKU where you played at?
I had a coach that I used to work with long ago named Tim Maloney. And before every game, he would come up to me and he'd say, I just hope we make some shots. And that's what it comes down to. You know, if you make shots, it changes the game. And I hope that the shots are falling tomorrow because if we get hot, we can play with anybody in the 11th region.
Yeah, and you look at the way Ursuline's played this year. In a game like tomorrow, it feels like he's going to have a really big game for you all to win because you're going to have to slow down the pace a little bit, maybe go inside to him and see if you can get him going to kind of slow that pace down.
Sure, Brett's played really well. The biggest thing he's going to have to do for us tomorrow night is rebound the basketball. So they've got some very athletic, bigger guys that will try to tip dunk on your head. And so Brett's going to have to take up some space down there, and he's going to have to be a monster on the glass if we're going to have any chance on winning the game. So that's one of the biggest keys to trying to beat them is to control the glass and try to get every rebound.
What do you think with the way this year has gone has been the most impressive thing about your team? Obviously, it's been a rough year for everybody, but just the way your team has played, has there been one moment where you've just been really impressed with your squad?
That's a great question. I feel like it's been a short year, but a long year at the same time. So, I mean, I think we've been practicing since October, and now we're playing deep into March, and so we've practiced and we stopped and we started and we stopped and we started. I think that, you know, when we played a couple weeks ago with that backup unit or COVID unit that we were calling it, not only was I like so extremely proud of them for actually winning a game, and I told the guys that were quarantined, you know, the 10 guys that didn't get to play, like it's a reflection of them that team did what they did, and it all goes back to your culture. And so the guys that, you know, they were quarantined, they have set the foundation, so that backup team knew exactly what to do and what to run and how to play and dive on the floor and take charges. And so to me, that moment, just watching that team win that game, and they played a perfect game. They controlled the tempo. You know, they did everything that we do in our program. And I think that was just, and even though those 10 guys weren't here to see it, they were watching online, but like it was just a credit to everybody that's associated with our program to win that game.
And you kind of found a little secret weapon in that game with the Linville kid who got some big minutes in the tournament for you.
Yeah, so Kyle took advantage of his opportunity and shot the ball really well, and he's played some key minutes here in the Berea game, especially knocked down 3 and got an and 1 and played some good minutes against Central. So we knew Kyle was a really good player, and he took advantage of his opportunity.
When you look at that bill that was passed about allowing kids to come back for an extra year, you know, Trent DeVries is a kid that's a senior. You got Bannister, a couple of kids. Have you talked to any of your guys about that yet, or would that be something you guys kind of focus on after the year is over?
You know, I've heard them talking on the bus and you know, in the locker room about possibly doing some things, but I haven't as far as a coach one-on-one sit down with individual kids and talk to them about it. It's very intriguing. I mean, just because different people are in different situations. I mean, you look at a Trent DeVries who, you know, moved down here from Illinois, and he missed his sophomore season because he tore his ACL, and then, you know, you move to Kentucky and you have a COVID year, so he's basically missed 2 years of high school basketball. So it may benefit someone like him who just hasn't got a chance like other players have, and then for somebody else it may be a different situation where they're just ready to move on. So I think it's just something at the end of the season, you know, each individual needs to take a look at and say, hey, is this benefiting me and for my future? And I think for some it definitely will, and for others maybe it won't.
Well, one thing about Trent is you make sure you say Illinois properly when you talk to him, right?
Yeah, he gets on us about that. No S at the end of it. No Illinois, it's Illinois.
Well, he's been an important piece to your team this year. I mean, obviously with no Nate Turner transferring or getting injured, with Trent transferring down, he's been a really important piece for you and made the 11th region all-region team this year. So he's been a big part of what Southern's done this season.
He really has. And, I mean, not only is he a good player, he's a really good teammate. So
he's fit into your team well.
He's fit in very well. And sometimes I even told him early when he got here, like, he's a little too passive. I mean, he was, you know, sharing the ball. He's a really good scorer. And I was like, Trent, we need you to score the basketball, so you need to be more aggressive. But that's just the type of kid that he is. He's a great teammate, and we're very blessed that he's here and that he's part of our program.
I want to ask you about Zach Hudson. That's a kid that I've started to really pay close attention to, because I remember being here for that first game against Central. He didn't get a ton of playing time. And then, you know, as I started to watch you all throughout the year, his hustle and the way he plays, you had to get him on the floor.
Yeah, and I wish I could sit here and tell you exactly how he does it, but I have no idea. But he's just always around the ball. And, you know, I knew in the preseason when we do shooting drills, he's one of our best shooters as far as numbers and time, and he just makes shots. And then he got his opportunity, and I think it was in the Central game, and made the most of it. And I've been playing and coaching a long time. I've never seen a guy find the ball like he finds it as far as on a rebound or a loose ball. He's just always around it, and he always gets his hands on it and rips it out of there. So he's just got great instincts.
Well, Coach, I appreciate the time as always. I know you guys are getting ready for Douglas tomorrow night. There's a chance that we may be there on radio, still trying to get all that stuff worked out. I know you've had an issue trying to find out exactly where folks can maybe catch the game live. But good luck to you and the Eagles tomorrow night. Hopefully you guys can come away with a win, and we'll see you on Thursday.
Appreciate it, Michael, and thank you guys for all that you do. I haven't said it enough this year, but this has been a hard year on everybody, and we really appreciate the coverage you guys give us. I've got family members in Florida and just all over the country, and they get to tune in. So what you guys do for our community and high school sports, we shouldn't take it for granted. We're very blessed, and we appreciate you guys.
We appreciate that comment. And I know you've got an aunt that watches quite a bit from up in Campbellsville.
I've got several aunts. My dad was one of 12 children.
Oh, wow, okay.
There were 6 boys and 6 girls, so I have a lot of aunt and uncles.
Okay.
You know, and I joke, I get on Facebook when one of them birthday, I say happy birthday to my favorite aunt, and then all of a sudden they'll all start
you
commenting.
get in trouble when you do that.
Yeah. So.
Well, Coach, good luck tomorrow, and hopefully, again, we'll see you all on Thursday night.
Sounds great.
That's
Thank you,
Austin Newton, head coach of the Eagles. Folks, take another commercial break and come back. We're from Jared Peck of the Herald Leader on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show.
Hey, why aren't you watching these 30-second walk-arounds?
I'm Michelle,
And I'm Jennifer, and in the spring of 1992, Bishop Small Engine Repair was born in our mom and dad's barn in Estill County.
Then in the fall of 1992, we made the move to Madison County, where we are today. With the support of our family, customers, and community, we have continued to grow in the outdoor power industry. With the full line of products from Kokudet, Grasshopper, Echo, and Shindawa, we can help you tackle your yard so you can enjoy it with your family. Bishop's Small Engine Repair, where our focus is our customer. Stop on in, 119 North Estill Avenue in Richmond. We can't wait to see you.
Who makes the best meal in Richmond? Nuevo Vallarta. Friendly service, a place that's good for kids and good for groups. Head to Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond. Nuevo Vallarta is known for warm hospitality, great prices, great food, and the best margaritas and fajitas in town. Doesn't a huge 32-ounce ice-cold beer sound great? Start with an appetizer, order a la carte, or choose from their huge menu of Mexican favorites for grown-ups and kids. Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond.
Patrick O'Neill has been serving Central and Eastern Kentucky since 1995. When someone is accused of something they didn't do, or when a good person makes a mistake, they need the best representation they can find. And that's Patrick O'Neill. Whether it's criminal defense, Social Security, disability, personal injury, workers' compensation, or deeds and wills, when you need legal advice, trust the expertise of Patrick O'Neill. He will get you the money you deserve. His office is located in Jackson, but Patrick practices all over Central and Eastern Kentucky. For more information or for a free consultation, call 606-666-2990.
On the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show, folks. Again, want to run down this tournament draw for you one more time before we hear from Jared Peck. On the boys' side, it's Frederick Douglass, Madison Southern, Dunbar versus Frankfort, Franklin County, Henry Clay, and then Madison Central, Lexington Catholic. Those games are tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Tonight, Madison Southern, Great Crossing, and again, that we're going to have for you here. Scott County, Lafayette, Tates Creek, Frederick Douglass, and then Franklin County, Madison Central. All those games, the girls' side, taking place tonight at 7 o'clock. Let's hear from Jared Peck from the Lexington Herald-Leader about the previewing both the girls and boys 11th region tournament.
Here with Jared Peck from the Lexington Herald-Leader, and Jared, we're going to be previewing the 11th region tournament, which starts tonight here in the 11th region. Some pretty good games tonight as well. When you look around the girls' side, the boys will obviously get started tomorrow. But before we kind of get into the individual matchups and everything, just kind of give us an idea. You've been covering this 11th region quite a bit this year, seeing some pretty good players, some pretty good games throughout the season. Kind of what is your take and look ahead to this regional tournament?
On the girls' side, I think aside from Franklin County, it's really evenly matched. Madison Southern, Lafayette, Great Crossing. I mean, you could throw those in the hat and play 10 games and get different results 10 different times. Franklin County, I think with Brooklyn Miles and Patience Laster, they're the class of the field if they play well. But other teams have a say in whether you play well or not sometimes. And if Brooklyn Miles has an off game or Patience Laster gets into foul trouble or some of their new girls have trouble, Franklin County has lost one of their key starters for the year. Jasmine Chambers tore an ACL early in the season, so they're not as deep as they would like to be, and quite frankly don't have the team that they think they might have had, and they've struggled against really good teams. And I wouldn't say they've struggled against 11th region competition, but they haven't played a whole lot of 11th region competition because it's just those games haven't worked out because of COVID. I saw them play Highlands a couple weeks ago, and they trailed that entire game and did not look good that entire game, and then they pulled it out right at the end because Brooklyn Miles and Patience Laster, they kind of took it over. But Great Crossing's good, Lafayette's good, Madison Southern's really good. Yeah. But it's whether can they play at a level to reach what Franklin County is, because there's a couple of different levels, and Franklin County is we feel like it's kind of at another level. And then there's another level beyond that Franklin County has to get to compete at the Sweet 16.
Yeah, Franklin County will open up against Madison Central, and Central's a really young team. Would be hard for Central to go on the road in that atmosphere to pick up a win. Tates Creek plays Frederick Douglass, and then on the other side, you got Scott County Lafayette, a good matchup there. Madison Southern and Great Crossing, and Crossing had their way with Southern about a month ago. I mean, they beat Southern by, I think, 20-plus points, and that's kind of been the story with Madison Southern all year long is do they have enough consistent play? Can their top scorer, Cornelison, get out there and do what she's capable of doing? And if she can, then that team's a whole different team. But like we saw in the district tournament, if teams really key on her, can the other players step up and kind of propel Madison Southern further into this tournament? The good news for Southern is tonight they get Great Crossing at home. But you talked about Franklin County, only 8 games in the region. And I did watch one of those games. Berea took them down to the wire, actually went into overtime, and Berea should have beat them. Berea had them. I think the Franklin County was down by 1. Berea was at the free throw line and missed a couple of free throws late that could have put that game away. And Franklin County, as you pointed out, pulled out some games like that.
Yeah, I think that if Franklin County just struggles a little bit, sometimes their confidence gets down. I mean, they can be got. People think that that would be with Brooklyn Miles. There's the Tennessee commit, Miss Basketball candidate that they kind of would have it locked up. I don't take that as a given because they do struggle at times. And you mentioned Great Crossing, Franklin County handled Great Crossing. To play with Great Crossing, you've got to be able to shoot because Great Crossing plays the exact same kind of offense that Scott County does back in the day, where they're putting up 50 shots. They're just chucking it. They come down the court and they chuck it at the rim. And if you can rebound and you can keep with them defensively and athletically, you have a chance against a Great Crossing. But if you don't rebound, if you don't get on the boards and keep them from offensive rebounding those misses, you're going to have a long night.
So we'll look ahead to the boys region tournament now, and obviously Lexington Catholic falling to Dunbar. Another surprise, but that's the second time in about 3 weeks that Dunbar has knocked off Catholic. And you were at that game. I was following you all night Friday night on Twitter and was very surprised that Dunbar once again was able to pull away. I mean, they had a double-digit lead late in that game over Catholic, who's the top team in the state.
Yeah, Dunbar's no joke. Dunbar didn't get ranked as high. And it's because they spent, a couple of weeks of the season out because of COVID, and they took a couple of losses. One loss that really hurt them. They were without Tim Hall, who is a star, and you lose that, and they kind of drop down in the rankings after that game. But they're a handful. They've got size. They're athletic. Nick Spalding, who is just a sophomore, is playing out of his mind. He scored 27 the first time against Catholic. He scored 25, Friday night, and was hitting huge threes and huge shots. And he was doing Ben Johnson things that you see Ben Johnson doing, which is hitting big, long threes and driving the lane and getting jump shots. Nick Spalding was doing that. And, they've got Tim Hall, who went for 25 and 16 rebounds. Dunbar is just a really good matchup for against Lexington Catholic because they're physical, they have the size to match Catholic, they have the size to match anybody, and so Dunbar is going to be tough, and Douglas in the region is also a handful, and I think Madison Central's played them as well, but Madison Central, I look at Madison Central's schedule, and I think that they feel like they should have won some games that they didn't win.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got size. They're physical. They've got 3 double-digit scorers. I think when they played Catholic the first time, they were without Jalen.
Jalen Davis.
The first time around. And I think they have to feel pretty good going into the Tuesday night the way they played them before, because really it was, a spurt in the second half that kind of decided the game where they couldn't guard Ben. And Ben kind of reeled off, 10 points. And he tried to do that to Dunbar on Friday night. He reeled off the first 10 points of the second half, essentially. And Dunbar answered it, came back, got back in their face. And the key to beating Lexington Catholic is it's okay to let Ben get going.
Yeah.
But you got to stop everybody else. And they stopped everybody else. And then it became a matter of, now, Ben, it's on you. You've got to save us, Ben. Save us, Ben. And when they have empty possessions and they don't rebound his misses, if those shots don't go in, I mean, there were a couple of key possessions where he did his thing and the ball bounced off the rim. And when that happens, Catholic is folded. They folded in the 11th region championship game against Scott County last year.
Yep.
They folded Friday night against Dunbar. It's like when those Ben Johnson's shots don't fall, and it doesn't happen often.
Yeah.
But it's happened in a couple of big spots. Is it going to happen Tuesday night? Don't know, because he has a tendency of fixing those problems, and they tend to go in for him more often than not. But if you're lucky enough to be on the night when they bounce off, you've got a chance against Lexington Catholic.
I think when you look at Madison Central, I've been covering them all year, obviously. They are very underrated in the fact that they've only had all their players together for, 2 or 3 weeks of the season. They had them together that first week of the year when they went 3-0 that opening week, and then the last 2 weeks of the season when they really started to play well. And you mentioned the Davis kid not being there for the first matchup with Catholic. Well, Braden Ray also had a sprained ankle, and he's been in and out of the lineup all year long. So they're just now, everybody's healthy and on the court except for Coach Feldhouse, who still got the ankle in his boot. But I feel like, and as soon as I talked to Coach Feldhouse Friday night after they beat Southern, I was interviewing him after the game, and he had already been told about Catholic losing. He said, "You know what that means, don't you?" And I said, "Yeah, you're going to draw them," and he was right. But, he and Salzman have always had, the big game atmosphere. Even when their teams are not the best team in the region, it feels like their game is the game to be at. And I feel like for it to be the first game of the region, you look back for Central a couple of years ago when Catholic lost in their district championship game. Of course, Central drew them in the first round when Michael Moreno and that team were seniors. So I feel like Central is no strangers to being in this position. It's just a little bit, an interesting atmosphere in a game that will be at Madison Central. You bring in the top-ranked team in the state coming off a loss, and will Central be able to kind of build up enough energy, I feel like, in that gym to kind of counteract what Catholic's going to be bringing in?
And I think beating GRC in the last week of the regular season or something like that, GRC is really good. GRC is probably going to win the 10th region.
Yeah.
They had Morton broke his wrist or something like that, or injured his wrist, and that caused them to sputter for a little while, but they're going to get right again. And I think, that was a chance for Clark County to show that they could play with the big boys when they played you guys, and they lost by 1. And that tells me that Madison Central's got enough what it takes to beat a Lexington Catholic or to beat just about anybody.
Yeah.
Because I've seen Clark County play. When they're rolling, they're tough.
Yeah, I feel like Catholic going into this tournament is obviously the favorite, and rightfully so. But, Frederick Douglass is very long and athletic. If they can get going, they can beat anybody in this region. We've already seen Dunbar do that twice to Catholic. Central kind of in that same light. So I feel like this tournament can be very, very interesting. Do you have a prediction, or do you got a matchup you'd really like to see on both the girls and boys sides?
Well, I want to see Dunbar Douglass again. I'm Lexington centric. Douglass had Dunbar down 16 in the fourth quarter at the beginning of the season, and Dunbar won that game. It was amazing, and I'm interested to see how Douglass responds to that and whether they can handle everything that Dunbar does. I picked Lexington Catholic before the tournament started because I thought that they would be able to speed up Dunbar and kind of learn from their mistakes against Dunbar the first time around. If you handle LexCast press, they make a lot of easy baskets off the press. And Madison Central, if they're able to handle that pressure, because every now and then they go full court, and that's what turns the game for them. They get easy buckets off that full court press, and they really don't do it enough. I like Madison Central's chances if they get past. They're going to get to the final. I think they'll get to the final if they make it past, because they would get Henry Clay probably next. Yeah. So Madison Central, Henry Clay, they got to feel good about that game. Dunbar Douglass, it's going to be a show in the other semifinal if it gets that. You don't want to discount the other opponents, but come on. Yeah. Douglass is ranked, and Dunbar just beat the number 1 team in the state.
Exactly.
Who's really good. That's got to be the other semifinal. And in the championship game, if it's Dunbar or we haven't seen Douglass in LexCast, and we haven't, we've seen Douglass Madison Central, and I don't know. I think it's Dunbar now. I really do. That team is playing unbelievable. Really good coach. They handle pressure. But whoever wins the Dunbar-Douglas game is going to be a handful and should probably win it.
Well, I feel like Dunbar beating Catholic in the championship game deserves, at least for the moment, to be the favorite heading in.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have any seniors. I mean, that's why you wonder about them. Is like,
yeah.
But not having senior leadership didn't hurt them in the 43rd District Championship game. And it didn't hurt them down 16 against Douglas 2 months ago. Yeah. And so just think about what they're going to be next year.
Exactly.
That's not going to be a fun team to play.
Jared, I appreciate the time. Let the folks know where they can find you on Twitter for updates throughout all these games.
Yeah, my Twitter handle is @HLPreps, and I tweet highlights all night long. I'm not going to tweet play-by-play, so you're going to get mad at me for not updating you on the score sometimes. But the big plays, hopefully, unless one just, generally what happens is I'll have a big play, I'll tweet it out, and somebody dunks while I'm tweeting one out. But some big plays I'll miss. But I try to do that all night long and try to keep people up to date with what's going on, hit the big moments, and then we'll have it all written up for you on Kentucky.com.
Thanks, Jared Peck of the Lexington Herald Leader. Don't forget to follow him on Twitter for updates throughout the entire games. If you cannot make them or you can't tune us in, there will be plenty of ways to get updates, including that from Jared Peck of the Lexington Herald Leader. I'm Michael Watkins here, folks. Tonight we've got Madison Southern versus Great Crossing. The beginning of that game about 36 and a half minutes away. So we'll be here for that one tonight. Also tomorrow night, Madison Central and Lexington Catholic. Two huge games starting off the 11th Region Tournament, and then the semifinals and the finals of both the girls and boys tournaments, all of it right here on WBON TV. Thanks for hanging out with us here tonight. No Samantha Burford. Hopefully she'll be back with us next week as she returns from vacation. I'm Michael Watkins, and our producer tonight, Austin Hanks. Thanks to Jared Peck from the Lexington Herald Leader, Josh Curtis and Austin Newton, the head coaches at Madison Southern. We'll see you in about 20 minutes or so as we come back to prep and prepare you and preview the game tonight between Madison Southern and Great Crossing. For all of us here on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show.